Hi, I wanted to hop on here tonight and talk a little bit, very briefly, about four ways that counseling and coaching or therapy and coaching um, are different. And I think a lot of clinicians aren't sure, like, coaching sounds very similar, but is it? And so it is not. They're very separate. And so the first way that they differ is in the goals for a client in coaching versus the goals for a client in counseling. In counseling, we're focused on helping somebody get well or helping somebody heal, right? We will look at their past, piece it together with how things are now, help the client make connections to understand why things are the way they are, and then help them move forward. In coaching, the past stuff is not worked with. The past stuff we leave to the therapist. Coaching, the beauty of coaching is that you can look at the client head on, um, and you will screen your clients so that you have a client who's appropriate for coaching. All right. First of all, you've got to have a high enough functioning client that they are appropriate for coaching. And then you help that client instead of dig in the past to try to make sense of their lives. You help that client learn to dig deeper within themselves to figure out in a creative kind of way truly what their aspirations are, what their dreams are, what their passions are, and you help them map that out and then you help them achieve that. And it's so incredibly rewarding for both the client and the coach because the results are usually pretty quick, way faster than therapy. And you're able to kind of roll up your sleeves and co-create with your client, and it's so fun. Okay. Number two is the type of connection that you have with the client. With therapy, clearly there's definitely a hierarchy, and the clinician does have a position of authority, and we have to respect that, right? Well, the same respect needs to follow you into coaching, but a big difference is that in coaching, it's more of a peer or a mentor or a support that guides and directs, and again, points the client towards, based on your feedback, points the client towards their goal, right, in the future, where they want to be. It's always, always focused on how the client can solve the issue. How can you help their client solve their issue? What's their pain point? Is it that they don't have enough time freedom? Is it that they have a blended family situation and they need help figuring out how to manage all this? Is it that they're single parents, and they want to, become an entrepreneur, but they have no clue how to start and they're scared to death to do it, considering they only have their income. So there are so many different niches or niches, but yeah, so that's the big difference is the connection. Number three is flexibility. What I mean by this is coaches, the big difference is that coaches can work anywhere. So that is one of the primary beautiful things about coaching is that you're not governed by any kind of state, entities, and you're able to cross state lines and work from wherever you want. And the other piece to that is you can reach a whole lot more people because you're not confined to that. All right. And number four is income. And all that I need to say about that is, on average, clinicians make, it just depends, and I know that, but right around, I don't know, it could be anywhere from truly 45 to maybe 70 or 80K. And all I'm going to say is this my first weekend of being a legitimate coach who advertised my services prior to ever holding any kind of launch or anything like that. And I had a $20,000 weekend just before I ever really made an official declaration that I was doing this. This was just from providing lots of value in my free group and people getting to know me and me getting to know them. I had a weight loss coaching program and it's changed people's lives. People have lost over 400 pounds in that program. And so yeah, it's the income is very different because again, you're able to help people achieve a solution in a relatively quick period of time and change their lives. And it sounds sometimes too good to be true, but if you have clients that are willing to roll up their sleeves and be coached, right, who are open to feedback, you truly can get them there. Okay. Practically speaking, here is what I've personally noticed, all right, with boundaries, when I think about boundaries with clinicians versus coaches. In my opinion, I think that the coaching boundaries can be a little more lax, but the way that I run things, the boundaries are very similar, both in coaching and in like my private practice. Okay. And keep in mind, again, and we can talk about this on another day, that if you are a licensed clinician, no matter what, your mental health licensure trumps anything else. Okay. So you must comply with your state guidelines because we are held to the same ethical standard as if we were not coaching. So do not forget that the clinical licensure trumps everything, and you have to behave in such a manner that is congruent with the expectation from your board. All right. Now, at the end of the day, coaching has changed everything for my family. It truly has. I have so much more time freedom, so much for more financial freedom, and so much pressure is off just because, again, clinicians just kind of live paycheck to paycheck like everybody else. And I've been an LPCC for 24 years, but it doesn't matter. That you don't get into this field because you want to get money, you want to get rich, you want to make money. Yeah, that's not why we usually get into this field. So, but the beauty of coaching, especially during this era, is that people are starved for connection. People are lonely and people crave it. And so coaching allows people, especially community coaching, which is what I love. Community coaching allows them to not only have a coach, but also a community of like-minded people who guide and support and direct, and can provide direction too. So the whole process builds momentum and leads to really a quality, professional, beautiful outcome for both the client and the coach. All right. Okay. My name is Denise White. I am an LPCC. I'm also a high ticket coach, and I run a free group we're all here on Facebook. And feel free to come over and join me, and we talk about tips and tricks all the time. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great night.